With the Biden administration struggling on issues from COVID to the borders we were just talking about, media outlets are working overtime to come to its defense. And this week was no different, as the country faces shortages of basic goods due to supply chain issues. And amid all that, it was revealed that Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has been out on paternity leave since mid-August amid the crisis to spend time with his husband and two newborn babies. So joining us now to discuss all of this is Alex Marlow. He's the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News and the author of Breaking the News. So Alex, I first want to start with Pete Buttigieg. The paternity leave issue became an issue for many of those in the media. It became about the paternity leave itself, but that's not really the scandal, is it? It's about his unannounced absence amid a crisis under his department's purview, correct?
Yeah, he hid it. He hid that he was on paternity leave. And obviously a crisis like this builds. It doesn't happen all at once. And then he was indignant that he was getting criticized for taking such a long paternity leave, which was absurd. He made it seem like conservatives are now all of a sudden anti-family because we thought in the middle of a crisis you shouldn't be taking 2 months off. When you're running a bureaucratic agency.
Mm-hmm. That's the key point for me. It's not a private company that he's taking time away or anything like that. He is a public servant at a time where there's a crisis taking place underneath his purview as something that he's overlooking. And just yesterday, Pete Buttigieg tried to say that the supply crisis is a good thing because it shows that people actually want to buy goods. And listen to this comment about how Christmas shopping might now be affected.
How bad are they going to get for Americans? And I'm talking specifically, leading here into the December holidays where people are relying on getting goods, on getting presents.
Well, I think there's always been two kinds of Christmas shoppers. There's the ones who have all their list completed by Halloween, and then there's people like me who show up at the mall on Christmas Eve. If you're in that latter bucket, obviously there's going to be more challenges.
So those who are financially secure and those who aren't, and that in addition to comments from the White House that inflation is a high-class problem. Are they missing the entire point?
It's amazing that he's able to say this with a straight face. His suggestion is that you should be doing your Christmas shopping in October. Maybe you should do it in August. Maybe you should do it like at the last spring. You should have done your Christmas shopping, or else you're out of luck. In the meantime, he's taking 2 months off, and he's telling us that we're going to have to wait until February for our Christmases. With a semi-responsible media, this guy would be brought out in front of them on a constant basis until he's able to mount some sort of a reasonable explanation for what's going on.
And it's interesting, too, because the same people that are saying it's too early for anybody to be criticizing Anthony Fauci about talking about Christmas, it's months away, are the same people saying, well, maybe you should start buying those Christmas presents right now if you do want to get them in time. So it kind of shows the hypocrisy right there as well. But switching gears to another story that some in the media just want to disappear. Hunter Biden selling 5 art pieces for $75,000 each, but we won't know who bought those paintings or why they bought those paintings. And in fact, even former President Trump is weighing in on that scandal, putting out this statement yesterday saying, quote, "While I have never painted before, Hunter has inspired me to immediately begin painting because I've always felt I have a talent at that and could surely get at least $2 million per canvas and probably a lot more. I will begin immediately." Now, of course, a little bit of a joking statement on that, but how does this whole issue really highlight the hypocrisy of the two administrations, acknowledging what would happen if Donald Trump Jr., for example, were in this situation?
I have a bit of a contrarian take here. I applaud Hunter Biden for figuring this out. He found a loophole in the system. All he has to do is make crappy art, and then he can get paid exorbitant amounts of money from people who want to line the pockets of the Biden family. One of the clear patterns of all the reporting that we've done at Breitbart and that people have done at other great outlets over the past few years is that Hunter Biden is always interested in using the Biden name to make money. He's basically been open about that. That's what he's doing here. He figured out the system. He should get a golf clap. And by the way, if I ever become a relative of a president, I will be giving golf lessons, and I will be charging $200,000 a lesson. And it doesn't matter that I'm only about a 7 handicap.
Yeah, and we even saw emails come out this week, actually, that said that Hunter Biden admits that the only reason why he got some Chinese business dealings is because of his last name. So it's no longer speculation. We don't have to worry about being silenced on Twitter or anything like that. The New York Post already did that for us. But Alex Marlow, it's a very interesting conversation and one we're, I'm sure, going to continue over the next couple of months. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.